Right, ladies and gentlemen, back here again with update 5 of the M10 Duckbill and diorama build when I get around to the diorama. So when I left you last, I was starting to do the oil washes and things like that, and just started getting some subtle tones and blending things in. And as you can see, I'll just zoom the camera in. There we go. We can see what I've achieved on the turret there is just sort of a few streaks and grime and things like that. I'm not going to use any other colours, I'm just going to use what I've got here on the oils. I'm not going to bother with any of the washes or the other things. I'm just going to do it all with the oils today on this one. And I've started to chip on with the sponge on the top of the turret as well, you can see. And I've made straps for the jerry cans. There's one there. Painted the these are actually the track rubbers, so they're painted of the tyre black, off the Tamiya tyre black, which is number, so the rubber black, which is XF85. Oh, where we are, XF85, the rubber black. I'll keep that out because I've just seen a bit I've missed. Where we are now. Okay, I've started staying on the back, say again, with just the subtle, subtle. I started chipping the back a little bit again, and then I realised I stopped. Just so I need to show you, gents, the next process. And there again, there's another jerry can. It's filled up, and I got all these little streaks from these. The way they strap the applique bolts on, just little thin lines. It's not rust, it's grime, it's a mixture of all sorts. And there's the cleats for the tracks, and there's the other rubber again for the rubber tyres, tyre black, rubber tyres for the tracks. And go back round to the front again, which I've done anything different since last time, apart from chipping the slightly chip the front of the muck guards there. So let me just zoom out, bring this down a little bit. So what else have I got to show you? And I've done why I've been messing about. Camera's got to show you now. Nope, can't think. Anyhow, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do the chipping. As you can see on the top of the mantle there's chipped, and around these. So I'm going to start. I'll just take the turret off, which is not fastened down, which can go on there for now. And what I've got in here is just the own mixture of, I think it's 40% black, flat black, and then flat brown and red. I've nearly finished it off now, so I'm sure I have to make some more. All I'm going to do is put a few little drabs on there. This is nothing new, as I say, so just pick up some bits off camera. There we are. Just so we don't get the same repetitive pattern. So what I'll do is let me see. I'll just get all that out of there, most of it off. I'm just going to go around the sides delicately. On the top of it where the crews will get in and out, especially the driver, and just along the sides there. jerry cans there. Obviously there on the back of here because people will be clambering up and down on here, so there's a bit more. I won't put too much around here because the storage is going on here. Just try to change the angle a little bit so we're not getting the same. I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not. 100% sure. Not particularly good light again today. Right, ooh, we'll start on this side now. And work our way across. Ooh. And probably just a bit along this angled frame part of the lower sponson. Again, I'll just come at this angle because I can't. Let's just change the angle of the sponge. I can't get another bit of sponge actually. All I use is obviously the packing when I run out to get used to these things. Both things I take all the stuff off and I use the back of it. I think it's about £1 for about 10 of them or something out of a pound shop or something like that. Let's do a bit more on here. So most of this part here is going to be hidden with the storage. So you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Forgetting. That side where they get up at, I think. And probably again on here. Right, so I think that'll be enough for the old chipping. I don't want to go excessively. I might just do a few thin ones with the brush. So I'm quite happy with that. It is at the moment. Come on, bugger. There we go. Yeah, so I can see I'm quite happy with that. When it's come out, I'll keep that sponge. So I have the tow cable to put on, which is finished now. That's done. Can't quite see. That's the tow cable. That's the other side. That's the correct side. So that's going to come from the shackles and come around the other, and there's actually an attachment on the back of the hull for that to go on. So I shall be putting that on shortly, as well as the Pioneer tools now, which I think It's about right. So on the bottom of here I'm going to, well actually I'll take it off for now, I'll show you. Well, this is going to be all painted inside here. This is where we are, sorry, that's this where the deflector shade is going to be all grimy and dusted in there with black pigments, I would think, from the exhaust. As well as then I can put the tools on the back, and I probably will do a small, I don't want it, it's not going to be covered in mud, it's going to be dusty, but it's on, because it's on a road, it's in a bit of action, but it's not going to be caked in mud because it's going across the well, you'll see when I do the diorama, so it's not going to be massively weathered on the tracks. So I'm debating, do I put the bogies on now and work around them, or leave them off till I've got what I need first. Undecided at the moment. Yeah, so I think we'll leave that there. So what I'll do for the next part is I shall put all the Pioneer tools on, and we'll start on the track. Sorry, the tracks, the under the hull for the sponsons to go on. We'll do a light dusting. I'll probably use the same pigment which I've used before, which is the dark earth on the bottom. I think that's it. I think that's about. Oh yes, so I'm trying to make an identification thing. So I've got to go around the edges. That it's maybe tin foil. So I've made a couple of bollocks. So I might start it again, but we'll see. We'll see what it dries like first. I'm not too sure of the colour, but it's red. So what I'll go maybe drape it over top of the some of the stowage as well. Yeah, and also I shall be painting in the detail on the lights at the back as well. So we do the Pioneer tools, the lights. I don't think anything else at the moment. Lights, Pioneer tools, and we'll start off. We'll come back when I'm about to start the lower hull. So this is Greg signing off for now, and we'll see you very, very soon. Right, we're back again. As you can see, all the chipping is all done now. I'll just zoom in a little bit so we can actually see what we're doing. That's about right. So we start off with the front, the sandbags. Again, I've just got to give them another light. Well, I'm going to be the pigments on that, yeah, just so it's dusty. Obviously, that was probably one of the last things I'll probably do on the M10 itself. So let's start off with the turret and all the. There we go. Yeah, that's better. With the oil washes, that's got some nice results with those. As you can see, and all the chipping on the sides towards the top of the hatch. Obviously, sorry, the turret will be all clambering in and out of there. And I've folded up a baby wipe as a tarp, because it's obviously I'm going to put lots of the boxes for the 50 cal in there. So obviously, we want to keep them dry. So that's what I'm going to pop into the recesses there. What else have we done? Oh, I've added some straps to the jerry cans. They're not quite finished, just got to be a pigment again on there, and same on the other side. We've got the belt across there. If I take the top off now, we can show you the rear end. So we'll just take that off. That isn't obviously isn't thinged on there yet. So what we've got with the rear, and sorry, I've painted these as well. These are rubber black. I was just looking at the books I've got. I didn't realise until yeah, they're the rubbers for the track, so they're going to be black, aren't they? So obviously there's got to be a bit of weathering on that, yeah, with the pigments towards the end. And they say the decals to me look like they've just been hand painted. You know, they're really sat down brilliantly. And usually Academy decals sometimes are notoriously bad, sometimes that won't go down, but these went down beautifully just using the microsol and microset. about 4 coats of each I think I put on, or something like that. And it went in beautifully. Right, so the end I put all the Pioneer tools on the back, so we can go from there and see. There they are. And the streaking and the weathering effect on the back there with the red light and the orange. And all the Pioneer tools underneath there. I've dirtied the deflection thing from the exhausts. Wants a bit more mud in there, I think, sort of dust to bring it. And I've actually put a bucket on this one with a cloth in the back there, as you can see. So that's just hanging on one of the tow hooks. So that's that. And underneath there we have an axe and another bar, tanker bar, whatever it is. And before we go any further, I'll show you what I tried. Oh, yeah, it's pretty difficult. Is I started doing some of the mud effect under there. It looks quite nice. I don't want it, you know, coated in mud. This is more of a dust than a coating of mud, really. But that's just been put on. I can brush some of that off. But that's what we're going to use. So I'll show you what we're going to use and how I apply it. No different from anybody else. So what I'm going to say is I'll be using the I've been using the spot on pigments again, the European Earth number 3A, which is the 0, so it's very fine, dries fine, and some of the Alclad pigment fixer. So I've just decanted a little bit and put a little bit into one of these little paint pot things. So we can start by, so this still isn't fastened down, but just going to leave it as it is. So we can really start by, lean on there if I put the pigment fixer. Something a bit more substantial perhaps. Let's try one of the pigment fixers. Right. So it's really nice. I'll just zoom out slightly now. I want to see what I'm doing. And I'll bring this slightly forward again. Let me just put another light on. I think I've got this other light can go on. There we go. I'll bring that down to there. Right, so what I just did really was just got a bit of wetted the brush slightly, picked up a bit of the pigment and gone along underneath here, just stippled it on. That's all I've done. So I'll do all of it and pick a little bit more. I say it's really fine pigment. And the little goes a long way, as you can see. Not that anybody's going to see this, but for my peace of mind more than anything. So I'll just wet my brush again slightly, and dab a bit more. Right, so what I'll do is I'll carry on doing this. There's no point in you watching me just do this. Literally like watching paint dry. Right, so I'll carry on doing this, and when I've done and it's dried I'll get back to you. So Greg signing off, and we'll catch you very soon. Right, we're back again. So we've got the underside done. There we are. Let's just move this out of the way. So we have the underside like it's what I wanted, like a dust effect. I've gone along with a brush and knocked the excess off that I want. On there I've added the sprocket and the return roll, the idler at the back. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to try something. I just had a little idea for the sandbags. So let me just zoom in if I can. There we go. So what I've got in here is some of that pigment, you know, the spot on pigment, and I've put some, I don't know if you can quite see it. Let's come back a little bit past. I've got some static grass in there as well. Just a little bit of static grass. So what I was thinking of doing is just going along in top of the, you know, where the sandbags, it's going to accumulate all the dust and crap, isn't it, and grass and muck and things like that. So I just thought I'd try it and see what it comes out like. And I quite like it. So just, you know, so I put it on dry at the moment. You can just sort of go along inside each sort of recess to a certain degree, what you can. May work okay, it looks like it's going to work okay. Just got all the edges. You don't need a lot. You know, it's just all the crap and dust that gets blown up and gets sort of stuck in the recesses of the sand. So I quite like that. Doesn't need a lot, as you can see. Just goes into the recesses, just something a bit different. And streak it down there a touch. And what I'll do with this is I'll get some pigment fixer and with a brush and just let gravity in, let you know, do its own course, and it'll attach to where I want it attached. Right, I think that'll be enough. So I don't know if the camera can really make that out. Let's have a look, see if I can bring that. Ooh, just along the top there. I'll put a few bits in the wheels and that, I think, shortly. I think I'll put a bit in the wheels, obviously it's going to collect in there, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Right, so I've done that, and I've also added some fuel stains. Let me just zoom out a bit and we'll see where we are. I've added some fuel stains there, and I'm going to put a little light dusting over that as well, just to, you know, as it does when it fuel stains and a bit of dust, it just sticks to it, doesn't it? So I'll do that. I've added these two extra things to the back that were spare, so I thought I may as well use them. I haven't looked at one of Steve's books, and there is a few with alternative sort of Pioneer tool arrangement. Not so much on the back, but on the top as well. So next, what I'll do next is I'll zoom out. So what I'll do now is I'll start putting the bogies on and get them weathered up as well with the same stuff. Put a bit of grass in there as well, and go around the return rollers as well. It's a bit on there, not much. So I want it to look as if it's being used, but not muddy, if you know what I mean. So it's dust and accumulation of dry stuff and all that, really European earth, and not mud. it's dried mud if it's dry, you know what I mean, that kind of effect I'm looking for. So that's what I'll be doing next, is I'll attach those. There's no point in me attaching them on camera because it'll nothing exciting about that. And then when that's done, basically I'm waiting for some tracks, because I've made these workable. I've made the well, I've made them, you can alternatively make them sort of make them move, and the rubber tracks are too tight and they pull up on each side, so you don't get the full, you know, it looks a bit silly that the wheels are coming up off the ground, because I've tried stretching them hot water. I don't think it's made much difference. But the tracks themselves are not that bad actually. They're not too bad for an old kit. But I do have some on order, some Bronco ones, which will be workable. So I'll hold off. For there's plenty of things I could be doing anyhow. In the meantime, I could say I could be finishing the figures off. I could make a start on the diorama. Also, I just need to put some light pigment work on the top of the M10 when I've got the lower half done. And once I've done that, once I've got the pigments, sorry, the bogies on, I'll come back and do a bit of pigment work. It's just in crevices, like similar to this, just in the crevices. You know, along here, round by the fuel, under the sort of the turret ring, the hatches. I've got to put the other hatch on yet. I have to make a scratch build another piece because I can't have lost that hinge somewhere. God knows where. Slight weathering on these grousers because the metal. I'll put a little rust wash on those. And I think that's about it really for the M10, apart from putting the figures in. So what I'll do is I shall do that, put the bogies on, and we'll come back and do a bit of final weathering on top of the turret and the upper hull. So see you soon. Right, back again. As you can see, I've actually now got the running gear actually on there at the moment. They haven't been weathered as such yet, but the rest of the weathering dried really. I'll just take it off there before it falls off as normal. Yeah, the rest of it underneath, lights there. So I'm just going to do that sort of thing, but I'm going to put some grass in there as well on the boat. Not a lot. So I brushed a lot of the off the bottom of it, so it's just more like a dust coat more than anything. You see I've gone along the bottom of the sponsons with the mud. It's all dry. There's no fresh mud to be put on here. It's a clean tank as such. Yeah, so they went on really well. Nice good solid connection on them as well. So what I did do with them is, obviously you see me paint them all up. So I scraped the back off for both sides of actually on the tank and actually on the bogies, and I just used normal Tamiya glue. Held no problem at all. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to use the pigment again, which is the same one as normal, but I'm also going to add some more grass into it again, which is the 2mm, I think it's Winter City, the WWS. Just that. I'm just going to add a bit of that into that, just to give it a bit of, you know, something different. Because obviously it's gone through grass, it's gone through all sorts, but at the moment there's dry weather, as they say. Quite a bit in, because it does mix in quite well with the pigment. I know you can buy the AK or Lee or whichever one it is, you've got the mud and grass, but for what I need, this is better, because I don't want it like wet mud. I just want it to be dry, patchy, you know, patchy mud. So that's that mixed together, near enough. Okay, pop that to the side. I need a brush. Which brush am I going to use? There's the biggish one. Think that will probably be fine once it's got some thinners in it, which I'm going to have to put fresh thinners in. 2 seconds. Instead of using the Alclad pigment fixer on this time, I'm going to actually use just a bit of thinners. You know, again, it's the old Bob Ross thinners again. this stuff. Rolls and pigments on just as well as the pigment fixer. I'll pop a bit in there. Multiple uses, not just for paints. Right, so what we'll do is I'll just take this off, if I can. There we go, put that onto there for now. I'll just move that down there, because normally I'll spill it. Alright, so we can put that there like that. Can we see? Bring it a bit closer, perhaps zoom in a touch. There we go. As you can see, they're all workable to a certain degree. And I was saying about the rubber tracks, and we're going to use them. So I did actually order, and I didn't think they'd come this fast. I've actually got the they went a bit too close, the Bronco here. I've got the Bronco tracks. I'll show you those after I've started doing the weather. So that's what I'm going to do. They're actually workable tracks, so I'll get a bit of you know, movement as such. Let's just get a bit of, you know, on the brush to soften the bristles. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to put a lot on, just where it usually builds up. There's a return roll a bit on the wheels. And I'm just going to dab it on. And you can see from last time the actual pigment goes quite a long way. I am going to do the inside as well. That's all I'm basically going to do. And again, I'm going to put another little on the tracks, and away we go again. Just gives that grass, just gives that little bit of extra texture instead of just, you know, mud as such. Because these things went all sorts of bloody roads and things in there. They weren't just sort of stuck in fields or went everywhere. So let me just move this out of the way for a second and show you. You can't really tell in this light, I don't think, but obviously she's got to dry yet, but you've got that bit of a texture on there with the grass on the bogies and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll carry on with this, and when I've done this I'll get back to it. Before I do that, I'll just show you the tracks that I purchased. Just move this out of the way for 2 seconds. And zoom out. Because I've got these ones here. The Bronco ones and the Sherman Type 51 workable tracks, I think set, and there's quite a bit in there. You know, it's, I'll just show you them in here instead of getting them out. It's a realistic, true, movable tracks. So I paid £11 for them, so which I thought was a good deal. So we've got, let's just take it out the bag. I only received them today or yesterday, I can't really remember. Right, so we've got quite a lot on one sprue. We have the pads on one side, and then these parts as well. These are very fine. I'll have to be very careful on the clean up and taking those off the sprue. And then we have the end connectors as well. They do look quite nicely detailed, and there doesn't seem to be any injection marks anywhere. So you can see on the reverse of the pads, they fit into these as well, and then these things at the end lock onto them, I think, if that's the way I'm looking at the instructions. So we've got quite a lot of pads there, and it does say there's a jig somewhere in here which I haven't seen yet. No, not in that box in here, unless it's in here. We'll find out, but there definitely should be a jig, as it says on the back of the box. Is there a jig, or is it just my imagination? Tire black. No, there isn't a jig, it's just yeah, you have to build them up separately. Once you get going, say once it says pull 80, each set 83 pieces. A1, B1, do not cement, please be careful, blah blah blah. Yeah. Alright, so they look fairly detailed. Nice, just matter of, must admit the actual clean off pads are going to be quite nice because they're quite very fine as well as they get nearer to the pads. And again with the end connectors. And they say these are the ones that's going to be have to be very careful with the taking them off the screw. There again, there's only going to be minimal cleanup on these. It's just going to take the time to take them off the sprues and go through them bit by bit. Put a film on, something like that, and do a bit, leave a bit, go back, do some more. You know, you don't have to build them in one night, as they say. It's just a progressive build. So that's what I'll be using anyhow for the tracks for the Sherman. Pop them back in the box. They're quite heavy actually. Put that one last. Came lightning fast, I must admit. I didn't expect them to get them this fast. 2 days. And that was from China. I can't believe they came from China in 2 days, unless they've got an English warehouse that they came. But as long as I got them, that's the main thing. Right, so what I'll do is I'll carry on with the weather and the bogies, and when I've done that I shall get back to you. So Greg signing off, and we'll catch you very soon. Right, ladies and gentlemen, back again. As you can see now, I've had a little bit of storage at the top there. They aren't fastened in yet, but they're placed there at the moment. So what have we done since last time is I've got all the what I wanted, just the dust, got not much mud, just I've put some murky water from Adam Wild. I've just put a few marks on the bogies to represent sort of oil leaks and things like that. I thought I'd put a wet effect on there just to see. So I'm quite happy with that. And on the front again you can see the grass that I mixed in with the pigment. That's come out quite nicely. The rear, I've got to finish the rear. I've done a little bit, needs to more into the there we are, you see, there we go. Yeah, and this needs to sort that rear out a little bit there, but it's not too bad. I finally decided how to do all the storage, so I've dry fitted it, took a photograph so I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. And the identification patch mark, whatever you want to call it, is done. That's just made out of tin foil. So I'll have to paint the back of it again, I think just a bit of olive green, just to, you know, and there's a couple of chips on the front of there, so I'm going to have to sort them out. So they'll be painted olive green. I'll move these out the way, and I've just noticed, I was looking at a lot of these pictures and they had a lot of the, I don't know if they're track cleaning rods or anything, but they were white and red. So what I've done is I've got some copper tubing, and I've masked them. I've sprayed them grey first, and then I sprayed them white, and then I've masked them off, and I've sprayed them red. So hopefully when I take the tape off, they should be there. So I just noticed them on the side of the box. I'll show you the side of the box. You'll probably see better. Let's have a look. You can just see them where the, sorry about the glare, where the you know, through the, where the track grousers are kept. So I thought I'll try and do some of them. So I had some thin copper pipe that was given to me a long time ago by Mr. Joe Bentley. So I'm trying that, see what that comes out like. And I finally got around last night, to taking all the tracks off the sprues. So we have one container of the bottom of the tracks. These all have to be sanded yet. And then we have one container for the top of the track, sorry, bottom of the tracks. And then we have the attachment things to try putting together. That's fairly simple put together. This is going to be the difficult part, is as in the guide teeth. I've done a sort of a, let's see, they're all, how small they are. They have already been placed onto the ends of the track, and sometimes I have to be sanding. Got as close as I could to the sprue, so we'll see how we get on with those, but I can see them being a nightmare. But I've done a little bit of a track. I've done 2 segments yesterday, and they are workable, they're fine. They look quite nice when they're done. You can see that. Fairly straightforward to put on. It's just these 2 points, and then you sandwich the track between the 2, and then you put another piece of that on and carry on and carry on. So I'm going to build them in 5s, I think, and then I'll be able to stick the things on, then I can join them together. So the plan this afternoon is to clean them up, I think. That'll be the joys of sanding. So I think that's about it really. So you see we're moving along, coming along nicely now. So if I get these tracks sort of 3/4 done this weekend, I'll be quite happy with that. So it's quite nice and quite happy with how it's coming along. Let's say I've done nothing else with the figures yet. They're still in the same state. So I'm thinking of having him sitting inside, sort of leaning against these, leaning out the radio operator, leaning out, and having the hatch open so you can see a bit of the good detail in there. And there's a coupling to go on the in the turret. And I do have a few spare shells, but it's not going to be in a firing position. It's going to be more of a it's going through the western wall after the major attacks of the Germans have retreated, so it's just a matter of them all piling through now. So this is what this is going to depict. So there won't be shells all over the back and things like that. So but again, then when I start thinking about the diorama, as soon as I've got the tracks together, then we'll be starting the diorama. So what I'll do now is we'll call this end of update 5. So when update 6 comes along, I'll have the stowage in position, and hopefully the tracks. Definitely the stowage and the track cleaning rods, or whatever they are. I shall have to find out what they are in position, and hopefully more of the figure work done, so we shall see. So I think that's about it at the moment as far as we've gone. I don't think there's any more that we need to discuss. Can't think of anything else. Oh sorry, yeah, I slightly rusted the grousers as well, and I've had a few rust streaks coming down onto the side of the hull there, but masked with the mud or soil or whatever it is. And again there I've just put some wet effects around the spouts of the jerry cans, because obviously they're all going to be thing. But what I'm going to do with the exhaust things again is I'm going to do a little slightly again, but I'm going to write the dust, because obviously it needs pigment work as well to be done. Sorry, as well, that needs to be done as well. A bit of pigment work on here on the upper hull as well. So some of the diesel spillage will have the dust and things in it as well. So we've gone too far away now, haven't we? Not very good. So yeah, where the diesel spillage is, I'll do some fresh on top of that, and then we'll just have a little dusting of the pigments again, where it's landed on top of the diesel spills. So it's just not going to be a lot, masses of pigment on it, just enough to see it's like it's being worn and used, and the dust lands on it. So that's what we'll do, and then we can start thinking about episode 6 with the tracks on. Touch wood. See how they go. But I'll give them a go anyhow. They're going to be a challenge, but hopefully they'll look good when they're finished. So this is Greg signing off, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this sort of long drawn out affair. But I tend not to rush anymore now. I just try to take my time, and if I don't get to the bench, it's no big deal. I go when I can, and I enjoy when I do. There's no point in going to the bench if you're not really in the mood. Otherwise, this is when you start making mistakes and cock-ups. So I think we're okay. So this is Greg signing off, and thank you very much for keeping with me, and thank you very much for all the subscribers, new and old. We're heading towards 1,000 now. I need about maybe 15 or 16 and I've hit the 1,000 mark, which I never thought I'd ever do. So thank you very much to you all. Hopefully I might even do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I shall find something and we'll go from there. So that's in the, whenever we hit the 1,000. So this is Greg signing off, and we'll catch you very, very soon.